Hey, what's going on, guys? John Santos, and if you've watched my channel in the past, you would have known that I create content for apparel entrepreneurs who are looking to build brands and businesses from the ground up. Whether it be through e-commerce, photography, branding, marketing, clothing, design, or distribution, we provide all types of content and resources to help you achieve those goals. Now, for me personally, over the last 2 years, life went from one aspect to a completely different one in 2021. In 2020, I was working from home and I had a home life business balance. And then I had my beautiful daughter and that changed things up. It rattled the home life balance between work and working from home, right? So in 2021, we made it a goal to get an office space. And we started the year by moving into that office space in February. And quickly after that, we hired our first employee. And then a little bit after that, we hired another 4 employees. And at the end of the year, we were at 10 full-time creative employees, meaning we built the team from just 3 people to 10 in less than 12 months. And we went 300% jump in revenue and impact and in goals and everything that we were doing. But all of this shift didn't just happen in 2021. It started 2 to 3 years before when I had set a vision to how things were gonna go. And if you're watching this video, my goal is to help you create a plan in 2022 that's gonna be your best year, the greatest year ever. And I truly hope that the tips that we're about to share in this video help impact and change your way of thinking so you could really create the results that you're looking for. So when it comes to setting goals for your business and your personal life, the reality is that they can't be disconnected. Life affects business and business affects life. And that's something I learned this year. Personal things that were happening at the home life affected how the business operated, and the business was impacted by what was happening at home. And that's what I learned this year. A lot of the things that we were struggling with as a family were highlighted when it came into the business. And things that were happening with the business affected the personal life. So the way that you should be planning as an entrepreneur or somebody that's looking to get into business and to really make an impact in your community, you have to keep these 2 things aware. And for us, that meant that we had to go through some turmoil within our family, people that didn't align with that vision. We set a vision and we knew that it was gonna be uncomfortable to grow, and some people just didn't align with that. And there was a lot of back and forth and a lot of heartache there. And we had to make some very hard decisions. And just like you are in your life, there's gonna be hard decisions you're gonna have to make if you truly wanna accomplish the goals that you set. So these 4 strategies we're gonna jump into are radically gonna transform the way that you live your life and go about your business. It's gonna really help you hone in on what you wanna do. So the very first thing before you start setting goals is make sure that you reflect on what happened last year. If you're watching this video in 2022 right now, I want you to look back to 2021 and see what went right and what went wrong. If you want to start by celebrating accomplishments, what are the beautiful things that happened last year? What did you get to do? What did you get to experience? Who did you get to meet? And what did you get to accomplish? We should all start off by writing every single good thing that happened in our life and just take a moment to truly reflect on that. Because oftentimes we get caught up with the things that we failed to do that we don't appreciate how far we've come. So make sure you start by reflecting and really noting down what are the things that you accomplished and the beautiful things you got to experience. From there comes the flip side of things, and we have to look at the reality and we have to look at the hard issues that we had and the problems that we had, and we have to write them down as well. So I want you to take a look at all the things that you failed at last year. What were some of the goals that you set in 2021, and what did you accomplish, and what did you fail to accomplish, and why did you fail to accomplish it? Whatever goals you had, if you didn't have any goals, just write down some of the things that you had issues with throughout last year. Was it breakups? Was it mismanagement of time, of money? Was it bad business decision? Or going down the rabbit hole of negative thoughts, which lead to negative actions and negative outcomes? What were the things that you did wrong? What are the things that you failed at that you could truly look at right now and say, this is what I missed. These are my opportunities for growth. Because failure is an opportunity for us to grow if we learn from it. So by starting off with reflection, you not only get to highlight everything that went right in 2021, but you get to really hone in on everything that you could improve in 2022. Now this is a key aspect, guys, because if you continuously see the reasons for you not accomplishing a goal or a certain situation, a certain person, a certain experience, a certain place, you need to identify those things in order for you to start to moving yourself away from them. Now, of course, if family or if a relationship or something like that is the main cause, it's not as easy to just break away. So you have to do the work there. Because again, life and business are not disconnected, they're interconnected. And if you can't fix your life, you're never gonna solve issues in the business. So make sure that you're reflecting on 2021, and I want you to do a deep dive. Everything that went right, everything that went wrong. And from there, you're gonna be a little bit more clear on what goals you need to set in 2022. And more importantly, this helps you set boundaries so you don't continue encountering those same issues in 2022. Now, this was something that I failed to do early on in my business career and going into entrepreneurship and starting brands. I failed to do this myself, and it wasn't until I realized that I was going in this loop of repetitive actions and I started to work on that, did things actually start to work out. So you really need to do this, and you need to take it to heart to start by reflecting and analyzing everything that's going on within your own life and within your own business. Now, the next major thing you need to work on is a vision and creating a 5-year vision. If you can't think 5 years from now, 3 years from now, but I really want you to challenge yourself on how to think big, long-term visions. Meaning, what is it that you really want to accomplish? How do you want to live life? What do you want to enjoy? Who do you want to have in life? Are you going to be married? Are you going to have kids? Are you going to retire? Are you going to quit your job? Are you going to start a new career? Setting a vision 3 to 5 years out will help you start to act towards a certain goals and big goals that you may have. A lot of times we plan for now, and then we keep making plans and we keep changing them, and we're going through this hamster wheel of life. One thing happens, we change the plan. Another thing happens, we change another plan, because we never set a target for where we really want to go. Now, if we set a target and create a vision that's 3 to 5 years out, any action that you take, you know that it's either going to put you towards that vision or it's taking you away from it. So regardless of what goals you set, the vision is the most important thing that you need to act on first. And it could be a little difficult. I understand, guys. Thinking 5 years out is really hard. So really challenge yourself with 3 years out. And for me, it becomes even more like, as soon as you have a kid, you realize how much faster time goes by. My daughter's turning 2 this year. And when I was setting my 3-year vision, I realized, wow, she's gonna be 5 years old. And I'm gonna be, another 3 years older. And so is my wife, and so is our second kid. So it really puts it into perspective when you start to just think about that. How much older are you gonna be? How much older is your parents or your family members gonna be? And where do you wanna be at that time? That's gonna be the most important question that you need to ask yourself as you're creating this vision, which also means that if you don't have a significant other right now, are you gonna be in a relationship with somebody that's supporting that vision and supporting the drive that you have? Because if you say, hey, I want somebody to be, I want a girl or I want a guy that's gonna be my right hand and we're gonna go after these goals, he needs to be driven, he or she needs to be driven, right? And you're setting yourself for that, then you need to know that your home life isn't gonna be someone that's just gonna stay at home and take care of kids and cook you dinner. But if you have a vision to have a relationship with somebody that's gonna support you at home so you can focus on what's happening in business, then now you know what type of relationships you need to look for. A lot of times we fail to get into the right relationships because we don't identify who we want in our lives. So having that big picture vision of what you wanna accomplish 5 years from now, and then really having details as to what relationships need to happen to make that a reality, to what businesses you need to own, to how much time you're gonna be spending on those businesses. All of this is super key, guys. So to help you, I highly encourage that you guys create a vision board. A vision board is something that's so simple to make. It doesn't have to be anything so complicated. It could be as simple as you guys going onto Google and typing out visions of a house that you'd like, or a car that you want to drive, or events that you want to experience with your family and pictures of family, right? You want to create a vision board that you can see every day. And by seeing it, it becomes a little bit more closer to you obtaining it. But if you never put this together, then what are you working for? The goals that you set are not going to be something that really resonates with you and helps you keep going. The vision is the one thing that will continue helping you wake up every day, seeing that vision and working towards it. Without it, you're essentially just burning yourself out and doing things without knowing where you're going. You can create a vision board by either putting a physical board up on your room or on a wall, or you can create one on Pinterest by just tagging a bunch of photos together and making it something that's in a folder. It's on the app that you can open every day and just scroll through and see. I do it really simply by just creating a group of images and putting it on my computer in a folder, and I hit a play for the slideshow, and it just plays at the beginning of every day. And I have some music playing in the background that just really gets me into the mood of being in that situation, of already accomplishing it. As crazy as that may sound, sometimes it really helps elevate your spirit and your mood, and it reminds you of what you're working on that day. Now with a vision, you now have a target to work towards, which helps you create the goals for 2022. Now a big mistake, and one of the biggest mistakes that people make when setting goals, is that they set goals that are unrealistic. Meaning if they set a goal that says, hey, in 2022, I'm gonna make 10 million in sales this year. But if you haven't ever made even $1,000 in sales, how do you expect to make 10 million? By having that big vision, it's good because it'll inspire you and motivate you and get you thinking about how you could make that 10 million or how you can potentially impact millions of lives. That's good, it motivates you. But a lot of times that's where all of us stop planning. We just have those big picture goals and we're like, this is what we're gonna do. And then we try to do it every year and we don't even fall 10% close to it. And we get discouraged and then we're like, is this even worth it? Should I do something else? Should I just quit on this? Just go back to my job? The reason for that is because you haven't set realistic goals too. You need to set goals that are gonna inspire and motivate you, like the big vision 10 million type of revenue goals, but then you also need to set goals that are in front of you right now that become the reps that compile to get to that 10 million eventually. So you need to set goals in 2022 that you can accomplish, that may be a stretch for you, that you know this is gonna be really hard, but I know I can do it if I just put the right work, build the right team, and have the right mindset. Your goals should be challenging, but they should not be impossible. So that's the biggest mistake most people make, is they create goals that are impossible for where they are right now. Whereas if you create goals that are realistic, knowing, hey, you know what, this might cost me a little bit more than I'm thinking, so maybe I should launch it and sell 1,000 units this year, or this in the first 3 or 6 months, sell 1,000 units and then reinvest that and sell another 5 by the end of the year, right? And now you've built up a business model that works and you have customers. And now in 2023, you could 3 or 4x that customer base. And then in 2024, you could 10x it. And then in 2025, you'll be at that 10 million. It's about building momentum with the habits and the daily practices that you have. So start by setting realistic goals for yourself based on where you are right now and the people that you have to support you. Now, if you have team members that are able to do a lot more than that and they're able to think bigger, but they can put plans into action and you know that, then you can increase your goals and say, okay, we're gonna do this because by myself, I could only get this far. But with having the right people, I can get maybe 5x of that, right? So instead of just 1,000, you're gonna go for 5,000 this year. But start by setting realistic goals that you can accomplish and you can hold yourself to, and that actually have deadlines, all right? A lot of times people create goals without any deadlines to them. They just say, hey, I'm gonna sell 1,000 units this year. By when? Is it by June? Is it by December 31st? Does that mean you're not gonna work on anything till the end of the year? Things don't just happen by themselves, guys. You have to start acting on things on a daily basis. And those actions that you create on a daily basis will compound and you'll hit the goals that you have. So you not only identify the goals that are achievable but are a stretch to you, you now put deadlines to them. You say by the end of January, I need to have this groundwork done. By the end of March, I need to have this done. And by July, we need to launch. And by September, I need to sell out because I need to restock for the holiday season, which is gonna push me to hitting my final goal number, right? So these are all the things that you should be thinking about. Don't just write them on a piece of paper and say, this is what I'm gonna work on this year. If you don't give yourself deadlines, they're not gonna get done. And when it comes to creating goals, one of the biggest things you cannot do is create goals to please others. You can't just go about life creating goals that other people want you to achieve, whether it be your parents, whether it be your significant other. If you're not truly passionate about it, you need to identify that. And you can't just go about life moping around hoping that this will eventually be something you like. Because even if you accomplish it, are you truly gonna be happy? Are you gonna be looking back saying, man, why did I spend so much of this time? I have no other options. I'm tied to this career now, or I'm tied to doing this thing. Now, your parents want the best for you. And your parents, if they truly love you and invested that time into giving you an education or pushing you to something, it means that they truly love you, and you can't hate them for that. You can't say, hey, I despise my parents because they're pushing me towards this. You have to understand that their thinking is different than yours. They came from a generation that was different from you are, from where you grew up. And just like my parents who were immigrants from Mexico, they just said, hey, go get a degree, go to school and go be a doctor or go be a lawyer or somebody that works in an office. And that never vibed with me. I never was able to buy into that. So I always did something completely different, and they never really supported it until they saw me be consistent with it, which really leads us into the next part, which is having the right mindset. Now, when it comes to having a mindset, a lot of times people say, you just gotta have the right mindset. Just have the right thing that will help you move forward. You gotta just be disciplined, just go for it. Stop making excuses. This isn't that. Really isn't, guys. Mindset doesn't come from just saying, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be disciplined and I'm gonna go all out. Because what happens is life happens. And the reality of life sets. You might lose a family member to an illness or a disease, or they may pass away. You might get sick. Something might happen to your health. And now, how do you deal with that? Now, right now, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty going on. Anywhere you turn, whether it's social media, whether it's the TV or the news, the world is ending all around us at any given point, right? So with that, our minds are always full of fear and uncertainty. Should I do this? Should I not? That always is something that we're going to struggle with, which is why it's so important that as you start to think about the mindset, don't just think about it as a way of being mentally strong. You have to think about it in the sense of what are you doing to build it to be strong? How is your mind? How are you feeding your mind the right things? What are you doing on a daily basis to build up your mental, your physical, your mental capacity, your energy? What are you doing to elevate your own life in order for what's happening around you not to affect you? Now, sickness or disease or losing a family member or tragic loss of something is gonna happen, guys. Life happens. It's difficult. It's hard. You might be in a situation where it feels like you can't get out of. You might be living somewhere where you're not surrounded by the people that are going to support you. All of this means that what are you doing to build yourself up so you can get away from that scenario, so you can go and find the right people? Every time I have a chance to connect with you guys, I realize that I'm fortunate to be able to serve my audience, my community. I'm fortunate to be able to provide the resources for people to build brands and businesses, to do something for their lives that they didn't see was possible. Which is why we also created this planner. And the notes that we just talked about right now throughout this video is really broken down into a way to help you find clarity within your life, within your business, within your brand. Because the reality is that life and business are not disconnected, they are interconnected. What happens in your life will affect your business, and what happens in business will affect your life, which is why you should be planning for both, and you should be planning concurrently with both in mind. Sometimes I get questions like, how do you get to work with your wife? How did you find that relationship? How did you do that? The reality is I identified, hey, I need somebody that could really be with me on this adventure of life. Somebody that was flexible enough to say, hey, let's drop everything and move to a different country for 3 months. And then let's just go out there and explore and do night jungles, hikes, and do all kinds of crazy things, because that's the mentality that the person that was gonna be my future wife, was gonna be my mother to my children. That's the mentality that she needed to have. And I knew that because if she had that mentality, I was able to go far. Because the reality as men, you need to have the right support system, because we can always fall. We're not just somebody that is just all-time powerful. Without having a spiritual being, to me it's God, Jesus Christ. I turn to them every day. And I really pray to give me the strength that I need. And I love to have my family around me that is loving and supportive in that way. Those are my circles, and it's something that I needed to create for myself, because I knew that without it, I would fall. Now, the vision I created, I knew that I needed to create an environment that was gonna support me, that I was gonna be supported by, and I could support them. How do I create an environment where we all work together to help build one another? It starts by having love for one another and an understanding of what it is we wanna accomplish. So as you guys start to work on yourself and you start to build your mindset, another part of it is dealing with that adversity that you have at home. If it's not a supportive environment, it might be, is it because you didn't let them know what you're doing? Is it because they don't understand what you're trying to do? And you're just telling them like, you don't understand, but you haven't explained it to them? That's really where it begins, guys. When I started my first brand, I remember coming home and saying, hey, I'm gonna leave my career that I just started, and it was paying me amazingly well at 19, and I'm gonna start a business. That's what I told my mom and dad. And they were not supportive at all, because they didn't understand. But as I said, this is my goal for this year. This is what I wanna accomplish. And as I started working at it, then they were seeing those results. They were seeing, oh wow, he's spending a lot of time reading this or going to these meetings, and he's showing me pictures of what happened here. You start to enroll the people close to you to that vision. Don't think that you have to go about it alone. Now, if those people still aren't bought in after a year, then you can start to decide, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't the most supportive environment and I need to find a way to exit. But if you have family and people in your lives that are pushing you, that are holding you accountable, don't push those people away, because they're really telling you, hey, this is what you said you were gonna do, but these are the actions you're taking. So are you getting closer, or are you falling short? And that's really where this planner comes together. Everything that we discussed in this video just now is the things that we put into this. We really help you not only find clarity within your life and how you're gonna accomplish it within your business and how those two are gonna balance. We also go through the positive habits and the negative habits that you need to get rid of. There's places to reflect, and then you have places to plan. Places to plan for your business and for your life, and places to reflect on a daily and weekly basis. And more importantly, at the end of this year, at the end of 2022, I really hope that a lot of you guys that are watching this video, regardless on whether you bought this planner or not, which is available at the ftgu.store, I hope that this video helps you really open your mind to some of the things that you need to look into. You need to be able to reflect, guys. The most important thing is reflect on what goes right and what goes wrong. From there, you need to set a big term vision. And then you need to set plans that get you closer to that vision. And then you need to always think about the mindset. What habits do you have right now that you need to start? Habits that you need to quit in order to become the person that achieves that vision. Because being the person that you are today has gotten you this far. If you want to go farther, and if you want to accomplish big goals and you want to make a big impact, you need to become a completely different person. This planner was something that we put together over the course of the last 3 years. I've been using it for the last 4 years. We made it even better now in 2021. We improved it, we tested it out. We've had some amazing feedback on it. And I'm so excited to work with every single one of you guys who go and get a foundation, whether it be the FTGU planner on its own, or whether you want to plan alongside us on the foundation pack. By purchasing the foundation pack, you get access to a private community where we host weekly calls. And if you're watching this in January, they start this month. And if you're watching us after January, make sure you check the email with the dates on when the next planning session opens. But I'm so excited to work with you guys, because over the last few years, we've seen some amazing results and some amazing brands come out of this channel. And this year, our goal is to highlight you and highlight your stories and highlight what you're doing in your community. So if you have a brand and you're making some amazing moves happen, make sure you guys tag us, because we're gonna be featuring a lot of you guys in our videos on a regular basis. So I appreciate every single one of you guys who are watching. If you're a new viewer, subscribe right now, especially if you're thinking about starting a brand or a business. This is the channel and community to support you. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next video regardless. Hey, if you're still watching this video, I want to give a huge shout out to Brandon Estelle for getting the 2021 Commenter of the Year for this community. Brandon, thank you for always leaving an inspiring and an encouraging message to us and to our team. We always appreciate seeing you in the comment section, and we look forward to connecting with you in a future comment. And let's connect outside of that too. Hit us up. We'll get on a call and get to know a little bit more about what you're doing. For those of you guys watching, make sure you leave a comment down below with a question that you'd like us to answer in a future video. We're here to support you and continue helping you grow.